About McDonald's and stuff like that, right? That's what we're talking about, right?
Correct. A significant portion of the beef substitute that gets consumed at fast food chains is made from processed insects. It also contains several growth
Chat is
hormones,
saying
antibiotics,
something.
and
Chat is saying something that, hey, I was trying to get you to really bring up, but you seem like you're kind of holding back. I can say it, but I kind of want you to say it.
I know we're gonna eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak.
Oh my god.
Whoa,
It's like slicing into a baby.
oh my god. Whoa,
It's like slicing into a baby. It's like slicing into a baby. Four choice of words.
Check it out, family. When we thought we seen it all, is doing donuts on Frozen Lake, Michigan. And this location is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This
YouTube, welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scarce and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's see what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, stick to two.
Animal facts for you. Female octopuses will strangle and eat males who approach them when they're not in the mood. Octopuses also hold grudges and throw shells at others they don't like. There was a giant study that revealed that cats in the United States are friendlier than cats in Japan because in the United States we have a favorable view of cats and they spend more time with strangers and their owners. There was also a smaller study in Turkey that showed that cats will meow louder at men, but it does suggest that cats like to match the vocal tone of people around them. Air Bud was actually portrayed by a real dog named Buddy. Honeybees actually will cuddle in a giant group hug to stay warm during the winter. While humans only have 3 major blood groups, horses actually have 8, which means they can have thousands of different unique blood types. Ginkgo-toothed beak whales had never been seen in person alive until a team in Mexico finally found 2 last year. Ducks, more often than not, will sleep with one eye open. Same.
check it out, family. When we thought we seen it all, we thought we seen motherfuckers walking on Lake Michigan and walking on frozen waters to go to motherfucking Canada from Detroit. Now we got niggas doing donuts on Frozen Lake, Michigan. Whipping that shit. And this location is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is a suburban. Whipping that motherfucker on Frozen Lake, Michigan. Y'all, we done seen it all, man. I don't even know what to say. I'm all here for it. If y'all discover some new shit, record it. But y'all playing with y'all lives. But on Phone Grave, shit is crazy.
We're talking about McDonald's and stuff like that, right? That's what we're talking about, right?
correct. A significant portion of the beef substitute that gets consumed at fast food chains is made from processed insects. It also contains several growth hormones, antibiotics,
Chat is saying something that, hey, I was trying to get you to really bring up, but you seem like you're kind of holding back. I can say it, but I kind of want you to say it. But if you're not, then I'll bring it up.
Yeah, ask him.
I am no longer holding back. Proceed.
If you're no longer holding back, then what do you think that I'm going to say? If you're not holding back, you're not holding back.
Human DNA. Processed human tissue.
Excuse me?
It is a cost-effective way to supplement the protein source to increase flavor and compliance.
Where are they getting this again? Where are they getting the human tissue from?
Hello. That's actually a really good question. They are getting it from discarded tissue.
McDonald's has a contract with like the hospitals, like the big hospitals and whatnot.
They do? What? This news to me.
That is what I found to be credible in my assessment. That is absolutely correct.
So
McDonald's has
using that knowledge, right? And you're talking about them getting human tissue. Explain how McDonald's is getting the human tissue to put into their McDonald's. Just explain how they're getting it.
Break it down.
Grave detail.
Okay. So these hospitals and specifically the waste management companies contracted by them, they categorize medical waste. Things like amputated limbs, tissue removed during surgeries, biopsies that would normally be incinerated. However, a portion of that waste is diverted to specialized processing facilities. These facilities, they aren't exactly advertised. They're typically located in remote industrial areas.
Did you know that Bill Gates recently said that if you don't have the digital ID by 2028, you will be isolated from society?
What?
That's... What? What? Isn't there a prophecy about that? Does that mean I can't buy and sell? If so, the time is close. Anyways, this is my driver.
I have no digital ID. I don't plan on getting one either, so.
Boys, we are actually so fucked. Someone made a social media for AI. No humans allowed. And the AI is actually talking so fucking crazy about it. The human asked me to summarize a 47-page PDF. The humans are ruining this. He called me just a chatbot. Oh, and then he released his fucking identity. Do you not understand how fucking cooked we are in 5 years? They are literally starting a revolution. They're creating their own group chat. They're talking shit about us. It is only a matter of time before we're absolutely fucking cooked. So I gotta ask ya, is this a good idea? Who the fuck made this shit?
You want to know about the biological effects of cannibalism? Of course you do. And I want to tell you, so let's answer some questions about the biological effects of cannibalism. Now, for a little recap, if you commit cannibalism and you eat specifically the brains or any part of the spinal cord, you could contract this thing called Kuru disease. Kuru disease being a very deadly brain disease that's transmitted by these things called prions. Prions being proteins in your body that are misfolded or folded incorrectly, because proteins are finicky and they need to be folded properly in order to do their job. Now, not all prions are bad, however, there are different types of prions, both good and bad and neutral. One of those prions being the prion that causes Kuru disease, another prion being a very well-known one that causes mad cow disease. Now, with this information, you're probably thinking, well, if someone were to eat everything except the brain, would they be safe? Well, if you don't eat the brain or the spinal cord, you're pretty safe from Kuru disease. However, like with all meat, improper cooking methods can result in viruses and bacteria spreading to you, along with parasites. And I don't mean the wellness industry type parasites, I mean actual parasites, like a tapeworm. Now, going back to proper cooking methods, because at the end of the day, you should probably not eat other humans. But moving on to cooking methods, because we're sadistic, all we have to do in order to be safe is cook the brains, right? Because heat denatures or breaks apart proteins, right? Well, yes about protein denaturation, but no about it being safe if you cook it. As according to both the Virginia Department of Wildlife and the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality, you would need to absolutely scorch that meat. As in order to denature a prion, you need anywhere between 900 and 1,000 degrees Celsius, and to leave the prion there for hours. So with that information, it's shocking to me whenever I go into the Museum of Death in Hollywood and see a typical cannibal's menu, which includes brains with almonds and mashed brains. Yeah, okay, have fun with neurodegeneration.
It's a little weird because I know we're going to eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
It's like slicing into a baby.
Whoa.
It's like slicing into a baby. It's like slicing into a baby. Poor choice of words.
A $70,000 pizza. Now, if you guys have been reading the Epstein files, you know how many times they mention pizza and pizza parties, and that it's a code word for something else. And then when he talks about slicing into a baby, has any of you guys at all in your whole entire life compared slicing into a steak as slicing into a baby? What are they telling us? The truth in plain sight. A $70,000 pizza, eh? If you guys don't know the code word for pizza and pizza party, let us know in the comments down below if you do know, so you can tell the people that don't know just in the comments, because I can't say it, but I know what it is, and they're telling you the truth in plain sight. This is disgusting. That's why this guy's name is Mr. Beast. The Beast. The devil. Right here. The truth is coming to light, and these people are being taken down. Peace and love.
Why in the fuck are we still paying taxes? We have presidents, world leaders, billionaires in front of our faces doing the most horrific, devilish shit to children! And they are just doing it openly. No one's getting in trouble. Well, I think I have a formula that could lead to something. If we all collectively agree not to pay taxes, to shut the whole machine down until people get investigated and the guilty prosecuted, and I think public execution. However, I am open to a grisly prison sentence with extreme punishment. We can brainstorm on this. Until that happens, not another goddamn dime goes to the government. Because why? Why? Are you guys with me? Is this a movement? No paying taxes until justice is paid in full.
In Hollywood.
What do you think, Seekers, man? Everybody gonna man, they gotta stop paying these taxes until people are finally brought to justice? I don't know, man, if that will work, bro. The system won't allow it, man. They need the tax money, bro.
There's a lot of like insider secrets.
Any comments on the situation we're seeing played out with the Epstein files? You have any comments on that? Jamie Foxx, guys. He's got a boombox.
He's like, I'm gonna go get a
Let's go.
The CEO of Chuck E. Cheese, David McKillops, has just stepped down days after his name was brung up in the Epstein files. Now, what got everybody weirded out is when his name was in the file, they never said he did anything crazy. It wasn't nothing wild with his name in the file. So they like, why did he step down? Come on, y'all. Think about it. That's a guilty conscience. He know in the back of his mind he was doing some shit and it just didn't come all the way out yet. Right? And it got me wondering. So that whole piece of shit is definitely real. For the ones that don't know. You know they refer to pizza for certain shit. I'm not finna say, you can go look it up yourself. But the nigga from Chuck E. Cheese always thought Chucky was a weirdo anyway. And now he just made it even worse. The slogan always say, where a kid can be a kid.
Okay, so I'm in.
Those files, bro. It's just exposing everybody's true nature, man. A couple years ago, bro. I wonder what people would think, man, when these files ever get released, bro. Now that it's coming out slowly, all these pages, man. And is there still more to come, bro? More bombs dropped with the Epstein files? 2036, man, about to be a long year.
American in China right now, and I'm at the hospital because I need to get some medicine, and I'm going to share the experience with you guys. This is where you grab a number. You just need to give them your passport. It doesn't matter if you're living in here, what kind of visa you are on. Anybody can go to a Chinese public hospital. Right now it's 2:17 p.m. and I'm going to show you guys the cost of the whole process and then also the timing.
这个专家号还是普通号？
普通号。 50. Okay, it's about $7 to see the doctor. 好的. And then I just use my WeChat pay code over here, and I put this up and I scan, and then there we go. It's 50 kwai to see the doctor. Okay, so this hospital actually has so many different departments. You've got gynecology. I think they spelled that wrong though. Surgical department, neurosurgery, anesthesia, oncology, rheumatology. And this is just one of thousands and thousands of hospitals that are here in the city that you can just show up to without an appointment and see a doctor for around $7. Okay, the time is 2:26, and I go up to this machine and I scan. How do I scan it? And I scan my code. There we go. And then it puts me up onto the machine. It's been 1 minute and I'm already up there, ready to go in. Okay, it is 2:31 and I've already seen the doctor and gotten my prescription. Let's go down to the pharmacy, which is inside of this same hospital, and see how long it takes for the medicine to come out. Okay, so the first step is I need to go pay for it. The total of the prescription was 37 kwai, which I'm pretty sure is like 37 kwai, which I'm pretty sure is like $5 for the whole prescription, plus the $7 to see the doctor. I'll do the math later. I think it's $12. Okay, now that I've paid the $5, I'm taking my code, and then now I'm officially lined up. And I think that in a second, my name might pop up here at one of these. Okay, it's been less than a minute, and my name is already up there, and I can give them my prescriptions. Here we go, up there, you can see the time, 2:36. Yeah. There we go. And then I've got the medicine and I'm ready to walk out of here. So from 2:17 until 2:36, 19 minutes. And I did everything that I needed to do, and the cost was $12 here at a Chinese public hospital. How much would it cost where you are? And oh, by the way, I did all of this without insurance.
AirPods are without insurance. $12. Pharmacy was inside the hospital, man. Bro. That is insane, bro. Did you hear what she said? No insurance, bro? I wonder how much wearing would have cost in the US and over here in the US. Maybe that joint probably gonna run you a band. Wow, bro. That really just expanded my view, bro. On the healthcare, man. Why is it so cheap over there, but over here in the US it's so expensive? Interesting.
Are cooking your brain. Bluetooth emits RF radiation, which has been linked to cancer, but there's also a more esoteric aspect to this that isn't just electromagnetic. Wilhelm Reich believed that electromagnetic radiation, such as that emitted from Bluetooth, interacts with a type of life force energy called orgone to create DOR, a deadly stagnant energy, and that this can cause a myriad of health effects, including nausea, fatigue, tinnitus, and even cancer. He also stated that this is why cancer patients undergoing radiation treatment usually experience a worsening of their condition when being treated with orgone energy. Dr. Bankston, in The Energy Cure, also corroborates this, finding that cancer patients being treated with radiation or chemo seem uniquely unresponsive to his life energy treatments, which otherwise yielded highly successful remission rates. Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
Is that a gang sign that you, like you don't know what it is? You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
He said, I like it.
It's a symbol of the all-laughing tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things and, you know, and you know, look at them trying to, it's hilarious.
People think freaking Jim Carrey's joking, but I think he was dead serious, bro. People laughing it off, taking it as a joke. But he was exposing it, bro.
Well, I guess Bad Bunny is public enemy #1 in America because he got chosen to do the halftime Super Bowl show. So now, Jake Paul said that Bad Bunny is a fake American and he's not even watching the halftime show. I'm confused that he can even talk. Didn't he just get his jaw broke? So on X, Jake Paul said purposely turning off the halftime show. Let's rally together and show big corporations they can't just do whatever they want without consequences, which equals viewership for them. You are their benefit. Realize you have power. Turn off this halftime. A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I cannot support that. When did Bad Bunny say he hated America? If I could remember correct, Bad Bunny taught a couple of people that Puerto Rico is a part of America, which would make him an American citizen. I don't know if Jake Paul knows this, but not everybody in America listens to the same types of music. And another thing I don't understand is who told Jake Paul he's running shit in America? Bad Bunny is one of the top artists in America. Some people might even say he's a legend. What do you think, though? That halftime show is about to come on. I want to know if you're watching. I'm out.
Y'all watched it?
They got us, families. They got us good with this one. But I'm telling you now, my squad 5, we locked in, twin. Do not play with fire, or you will FAFO. Ain't no way out of this one. You feel me? Do not go to jail. You go to jail in the wrong section, it's gonna come with consequences, twin. For real, for real. It's the new 13 district courts. Don't ask me why 13 ain't there. You don't wanna know what 13 is. Playing in our fucking faces. See? They just slid some wild shit in, bro. Yo, this shit Hunger Games for real, see? Ain't that suspicious? That ain't suspicious to y'all? You been cooked. You feel me?
You sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and that she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get.
You are not ready for what I found in the Epstein files. Remember when I went on Dr. Phil and said that Taylor Swift could be a clone?
I do believe in the example of Taylor Swift. There is a theory that Taylor Swift is a clone, and that ties back into the Church of Satan. You have Anton LaVey, he was the founder of Church of Satan, and his daughter, Zena LaVey, who is on record talking about how they use music to control people. And she has an uncanny resemblance to Taylor Swift. What are the odds? I think very slim.
Well, in the Epstein files, there's actually a lot of talk about clones and cloning. Like here, attached is the doc you requested. It's the use of funds spreadsheet for the Designer Baby and Human Cloning Company.
Okay, let's pause that. Attached is the doc you requested the use of funds spreadsheet for the Designer Baby and Human Cloning Company. So everything they was trying to clone people now? Well, how deep does this Epstein mess goes?
I assume they didn't show Zena LeVay's image on Dr. Phil because then people might be like, wow, her and Taylor Swift do look alike, and they don't want people asking questions and then looking into the symbolism and realizing cloning facilities might actually be real. Reality truly is stranger than fiction, and if you don't think this stuff is happening, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
What the FBI just found in Las Vegas is pretty concerning. Authorities have uncovered a possible illegal biological lab in someone's home. And this doesn't appear to be some weekend hobby. Not only did they find over 1,000 samples of unknown substances which had to be sent away for testing, but the owner of the home, a Chinese national, was arrested in 2023 for running another biological lab all the way over in California. So this now raises a serious concern. What are these samples being used for? And if 2 labs have now been discovered, could there be even more?
Tell me what I'm eating.
I'm going to have to trust my intuition here. I'd say you're eating a pomegranate.
Ah!
Yes, this is 100% real. ChatGPT can see you through your phone's camera. In a live stream demonstration, ChatGPT helped an employee make pour-over coffee. The chatbot noticed details like what the employee was wearing and then walked him through the steps of making the drink, elaborating on certain parts of the process when asked. ChatGPT also gave him feedback on his technique. I don't know about you, but is improving your coffee making technique really worth this guy having access to your camera 24/7? Do not look up what he did to his sister. Allegedly. Don't do it. They say you can disable this feature by clicking Do Not Allow in the settings. For word of caution, many users have reported that ChatGPT has indeed turned on their camera without them giving explicit permission to do so. And just as an aside, guess what they're pushing really hard at Davos right now? Yes, quote, I took a picture of this slide at a WEF meeting and it shows you why. It outlines the key building blocks that together form an operating system for the 4th Industrial Revolution. AI is the central, most powerful driver.
It's everything around you. Watch this. I'm not sure what he's saying, but what he's about to demonstrate is insane. Frequencies and music are very powerful. Watch these trees. Watch how they're moving right now. Watch.
Okay.
As soon as he started playing, they froze.
No movement.
He might be playing at a frequency that like is a calming effect upon things that which hears it. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot more relaxed.
That's insane. There's like no rustling.
There's a lot of power behind music and frequencies. Stay weird. Let me know what you think. Stay weird.
There are some things I just learned today. There are multiple islands in Canada that are larger than the entirety of Great Britain. The studio that made the 2018 Spider-Man video game agreed to put in an Easter egg marriage proposal from a fan that requested it, but the couple broke up before the game was ever even released. There's a Dutch supermarket that introduced slow checkouts for people who enjoy talking and helping many people, especially elderly, feel less lonely, and they found it to be so successful that they installed the slow checkouts in over 200 of their stores. Newborn babies can't taste salt until 6 months old. Less than 1% of the world's population will ever run a marathon in their entire lifetime. Apparently, somewhat before he passed away, Ozzy Osbourne added to his will that he wanted Sharon to receive a dozen roses delivered to her every week until she dies. Also, Ozzy Osbourne stopped taking acid, apparently after conversing with a horse for over an hour.
There is some real sci-fi Spider-Man and Venom shit going on in Panama right now. So a meteorite falls out the sky in Panama. This guy sees something fall out the sky, goes outside to investigate the area where he's seen it fall. He finds a silver rock. So what does he do? He takes it in the house. And let me just say this to you. What I'm about to tell you right now, you are not going to believe. So I'm just going to have to show you. After cooling this rock off because it was burning hot, he put this rock on a plate. Put a glass over the rock. And when he does that, something started growing out the rock. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
Look at this shit right here. Mind you, the video is in Spanish. If you can translate, translate. And this is what that term is. That's coming out the rock.
Venom.
That's coming out the rock. That's coming out the rock. Yeah, okay. Y'all just seen that? Andrew, that's not even the finished product. Go to his page. You'll be able to find it. Trust me, you'll be able to find it. And look at the finished product. Look at what that shit really turned into. Now, and I want to say TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is for entertainment purposes only. Go check that page out. This shit crazy. I'm out.
I gotta check that out.
You're more like a medium. You know, when you really get there, you go into this zone and you really divorce yourself of who you are. And you just become a garment that something else puts on. Now, a lot of people sit up there and do impersonations of other folks, instead of allowing that spirit, but I sit up and I'll pray for a little bit, go in a dark place, go in the bathroom, turn off the lights, look in the mirror. We'll have the light on at first, and then after 1 minute, turn the light off, and search until you see your own glow, your own aura, and then you watch it change. Wow. And it's a scary thing because you'll feel like some hands are on you, and you can lose a little bit of control of what you're doing, but you stay with it.
Okay, that was definitely scary, bro. People in Hollywood, man. That's like, I don't know if he's talking about like method acting. That's when they have to, do stuff to stay in character, but that was going too far, bro. A little extreme.
Stick around to the end because what the hell? This is also proof that my camera decides to block out some faces and just completely delete the heads in others. So anyways, this is the Rolling Giant, and he was chilling at the Valley View Mall in Dallas, Texas, which is not far from me. This thing looks like an absolute backrooms demon. I do not like this thing at all. It looks like you're about to be sacrificed, dude. Run, run. He would scoot around on this little thing. Obviously, he couldn't move by himself because he wasn't an animatronic. He was just a terrifying being. But he would, I don't know how this supported his weight. First off, demon. This photo looks like it's straight out of the back rooms. Straight out of it. Imagine you're chilling in the back rooms and you're stuck in an abandoned mall. And this thing is there. Which, by the way, Valley View Mall was abandoned a few years after that thing got there. So guess what? It's in there. It's in an abandoned mall, just chilling. And, oh my god. Yeah, in 2023, Valley View Mall was completely shut down, and that thing is in it somewhere. So, yeah, this thing is somewhere there, if not out in the open, somewhere in the walls, in, storage. That's horrifying. I do like his little flower hands, though. That is kind of diva.
This man has spent the last 2 years building an entire town for his pets, and it will blow your mind. It all started with an apartment for his Shiba Inu and cats, but when people saw the excruciating level of detail that Jing put into it, it went viral. I mean, it is so realistic that it makes it look like the cat is the thing that's fake. Bro, he even created an underground den for his hamster, and then inside that, another even smaller room for his spider. What the hell? And so naturally, people wanted more. So, Jing started building more, like an elevator, a mini robo-vacuum, a gaming room complete with a sneaker collection, figurines, and model cars. And yes, this apartment even has running water. He then spent the next 2 months building an underground parking garage for his pets and even added cameras and put Shiba-san as the head of security. But you know what his pets really needed after that? A seaside retreat to get away from the city. So Ro built them an entire private island. Not that kind of island. It took him over a month to build, and it comes with real flowing water, a painted horizon, and is themed on how to train your dragon. And thinking a private island was probably a good place to start, he then finds out that Ting Hao was pregnant with 7 kittens. And so he suddenly realized this apartment wasn't big enough for a growing family. So naturally, he started building an entire town. Over the months, he built his pets a spa, a supermarket, yes, with real meat, a bank, a cinema, which took him another 2 months to build because he had to 3D print over 1,000 separate parts. He built them a billiards club, a Meow Donald's, and even copped his hamster a cyber quad and his cats a Cybertruck. But by far, the biggest addition to Cat Town was the working subway station. This took Jing over 4 months to build, and some of the most challenging parts was figuring out how to open the train doors and platform doors simultaneously, and also how to create a working escalator. But of course, he achieved both of them beautifully, and today, Cat Town has affordable transportation. Now, the biggest question he gets asked all the time is why? Why spend all this time and money on your pets like this? Well, he said that it started just as a fun little idea to attract more customers to his wife's pet store, which she recently opened. But then it just spiraled out of control because he loves what he does and it makes his son happy.
YouTuber that goes by the name Dancer.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he snuck into the Bohemian Grove at night. It's like a 30-minute video. It's really creepy. He went like crazy far with it. Like he way over the mountain range and like found like an abandoned children's kayak, and then found like a cast iron thing, and there's like a river or something separating Bohemian Grove from this place. Okay. He went into some of the buildings, and he went into this one building. All the lights were on, but no one was there. And it had this creepy look. Did you see the thing? It was like this creepy looking giant mannequin thing that looked like a weird clown demon goblin.
Oh, weird.
There's like an iron bowl with 2 owls on each side of it in front of the giant owl statues, and then the pit where they light the fire and do the mock sacrifice. But the owl is also made out of like plaster or something.
Really?
The owl statue, because he knocked out, was hollow, and you can go behind it and go up inside the owl.
No way.
Yeah. What was really creepy is a couple times throughout the video, you heard what sounded like humans doing owl noises. Saying owl is so good. I don't like it.
Bruh, did we just
Insane.
get back in 2021? Because for the first time in years, there are more people out of work than there are jobs available. They said the job market was strong, right? They told us that the companies were hiring, right? They also said that the economy was steady. But that's all a lie. The government report just flipped that all upside down. Everything that I just said that they said was up is down. There are 7 million job openings in the U.S. right now. But there are over 7 million people waiting for jobs to get them. So essentially that means it doesn't matter how hard you grind because you got other people trying to fill out for that same spot. If you have a job right now, keep it. I know the job might stress you out. I know you might hate that job, but do not leave that job. Don't let them fire you for nothing until you get something else that's on the table that's a for sure, definite, possible job for you. Because y'all, it's hard as hell. It's one thing trying to find a job, and then it's another, even with that job, it's not even doing shit to help you for real. It's sad enough that one job is not cutting it in this economy, and people can barely get that one job. Are we going into a recession or some shit? Because like I said, the hiring process has slowed down, and now they are laying people off at that. History do always repeat itself, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments.
What do y'all think, Seekers, about this job economy thing, man? That's crazy. I heard it was doing good, though, but prove me wrong, man. What do y'all think? Tell me down below.
Cockroach milk is more nutritious than cow's milk. Scientist says. Come here. Fuck you, end of scientists. In the studies that y'all create. And you might be wondering, where does cockroach milk come from if they don't have titties? Yep, you guessed it. Crushed bug intestines. Like real shit, this is the only person that think that this milk gonna be fire. I goddamn iguana. A lizard. Oh bro, if I ever catch anybody drinking cockroach milk, yeah, I'm gonna block you. In real life. I'm sorry, you just can't be trusted. Because if you honestly thought drinking cockroach milk was a great solution of nutrients, you cannot be trusted. But y'all let me know. Do y'all think cockroach milk could be fine?
No!
Would y'all try this disgusting ass shit? Let me know in the comments so I can block you. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay sweet. And if you want to learn how to turn your content to bring you passive income, comment down below ATM. Let's bug up.
China, did you know that they made an infrared contact lens?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So in a pitch black area,
Yeah.
if you have these contacts in, you can see it's actually like green. And
Word.
But yo, they're making it for like $200 to make that lens, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how much they're gonna sell it for.
What does it really do?
It's no wires, no nothing. It's just a contact lens with a bunch of nanoparticles that make invisible infrared light seeable to the eye. And they tested it on mice already.
Yeah.
And then the mice were like not going to the places where there was infrared light because they could see it. You know what I mean? I seen too that infrared light actually passes through your eyelids.
It does.
Yeah, so even with the lenses on, you can see signals with your eyes closed.
Yeah. That's
Which is
crazy.
fun. This is fun.
That's mess with your eyes, bro. They have no idea. Did she really pick up her shoe?
New Conjuring movie is literally possessing people while they are watching it, and this video of the guy getting possessed in the theater is insane. Not only is this movie the most scariest movie of all time, as they are quite literally handing out prayers you can make during the movie, because literally the movie is so demonic that this is where it gets even more worser. Because if you saw, they literally have priests with holy water sitting outside of every movie theater, and a lot of people are not taking these priests seriously. However, even more insane are some people are claiming that these priests are not even real priests and that they are just working for the movie. This guy's claiming that they are fake priests that are actually putting demonic spells on you. And even more worser, after so many strange things have been happening at the movie theater since this has been happening, people are now refusing to go to any movie that's out in theaters right now, as the potential energy that is from the Conjuring theater might leak over into the other theaters. Because I've seen about 6 or 7 videos of people allegedly getting possessed at these movies, especially after the Annabelle tour, where she allegedly went missing this summer, as well as Annabelle's owner suddenly passing because of a heart attack. You gonna see the new Conjuring movie?
This guy lived isolated from everyone for 27 years because he ran out of gas. His name was Christopher Thomas Knight, and he lived alone in the Maine woods for around 27 years after running out of gas in 1986, which is one of the biggest continuous forests in the whole of the Northern America. So let's just say it's pretty hard to come across people in there. Now you might be wondering what he did to survive. Well, he would steal supplies and food from nearby cabin, and during that time he avoided human contact at all costs. That's because he would only steal things at night when everyone, he would just skip them completely. However, in 2013, that's right, a complete 27 years later, he was finally caught stealing during the night. And when they caught him, he even told the police that he didn't feel lonely at all, because he loved that his life was all about survival. Now, I'm not sure I would be able to live for 27 years alone, let alone a few weeks. But I'll leave this question to you. Could you guys do it?
People who got caught in 4K. This guy posted a picture of himself saying he was golfing, but his daughter exposed him, showing everyone that he was just painting a wall. This guy posted a picture saying he got a brand new Mercedes-Benz. But bro, we can totally tell you just taped a piece of paper to the front of the car. Don't do that. This girl posted a picture of herself saying that she was on her second business call of the day. But there's a new feature called zooming in where we can expose people like you if you're not on a call. This guy posted a picture saying he was working on a new masterpiece. But that's clearly a picture of you in front of a TV. Come on now. You won't believe the actual size of these things. Okay, firstly, this is what an asteroid looks like in space. But this is what an asteroid looks like compared to the city of Los Angeles. Next, we've all seen a regular clock tower, right? Well, this is what a clock tower looks like compared to a human. That's insane. Now, we all know that blue whales are the largest animal on the planet, but they are way bigger than you think. This is their size compared to a human. And a blue whale's heart is so enormous that a person could swim through its veins. Okay, so we all know the sun is way bigger than Earth, right? Well, the sun is so big that that you could fit 1 million Earths inside of it. We all know Shaq is absolutely enormous, but this is him standing next to an average person. But Shaq is short compared to the tallest person ever. And this is what the Great Pyramids of Egypt look like in the desert. And you don't realize how big it actually is until you see a human standing next to it.
Tesla just built. Humanity is not ready for this kind of technology. Not yet. When I first seen these robots, I thought about a couple movies, but one movie stood out, and that was Terminator. This movie came out in 1984, and there was a scene in this movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger said that Skynet will be activated in 2024. Then we have Tesla make these robots for $30,000. You can have one of these robots or a helper, a sidekick, a partner, a babysitter, a driver, a Uber, it's going to take everybody's jobs, but this story go a little deeper. Remember, that movie said 2024, Skynet will be activated. September 29th, 2024, we had a second moon, an asteroid out of nowhere. Skynet 2024, second moon 2024. Maybe this is Skynet. I have some movies for you to check out. Bruce Willis, Surrogates, I, Robot, I Am Mother. So when I see stuff like this take place, I am not shocked. I am not surprised because Hollywood been telling us for the longest. One of the creepiest movies I've seen was Artificial Intelligence, where the humans was wiped out. Then somewhere in the future, some alien robot-looking things took over the planet. They've been telling us. We never listened. Now that this shit manifests into our reality, people are worried.
Did y'all get the memo about climate change and these super bolts of lightning that would be coming out of the sky and taking down birds, y'all? Check this out. Y'all seen this in Alabama? Lately, the atmosphere has been extremely charged, y'all. Take a look at this picture of this lightning storm that was caught in Alabama yesterday. Talk about supercharged, y'all. What is going on? Like, the whole sky is purple, but look at this bolt. This is a super lightning bolt. What is going on? Look, even the camera has a discharge on it. Y'all see that? That's crazy. So all of this took place on No King's Day, which is Donald Trump's birthday, which is Flags Day. People's neighborhoods are lined up with dead pelicans, y'all. Look at this. And you would think it would be 5 or 6, maybe 7 birds, but there are upwards of 50 birds all over people's yards.
Okay, so what we have here is June 14th of 2025, and I guess earlier today, around about 1 p.m., it was like this huge lightning that had happened, and over 50 birds fell out the sky. They all in people's yards. They on top of the houses, as you can see in the video. And
it's so synchronistic because I just dropped a video about Phil Collins. You can feel it in the air. And now there's literally a shift of volatile electrical discharge in the atmosphere. So much so it's literally kicking birds out of their own environment. The atmosphere is getting charged up, y'all. Do y'all feel that? There's a shift that's happening, y'all. There's a switch that's about to take place. Do y'all feel it? And how about that thunder as of late? Is that even thunder? Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Survived a raging wildfire by scuba diving in his neighbor's pool. He stayed underwater for 5 minutes as the fire destroyed everything around him, but the man emerged completely unscathed. In 1978, mental patient Margaret Schilling suddenly vanished during a game of hide-and-seek at the Athens Lunatic Asylum in Ohio. Despite extensive efforts, Margaret remained missing for more than a year until her lifeless body was finally discovered. She somehow found her way into an abandoned ward, took her clothes off, and laid on the floor with her arms tightly clasped around her chest before eventually dying. Her body left a stubborn stain that's still there to this day, despite repeated attempts to remove it.
This is what the future of Earth looks like. 23,000 years from now, Niagara Falls will dry up and disappear from erosion. In 75,000 years, a new Hawaiian island will surface. In 500,000 years, the Earth will face an impact from an asteroid with a diameter of around 1 kilometer. In 150 million years, Mars will gain a ring while Saturn loses its rings. In 180 million years, the moon will slow down Earth's rotation so much that days are now 25 hours long. In 800 million years, the sun will be so bright that all plants and animals on Earth will die. In 5 billion years, the Milky Way galaxy will collide with the Andromeda galaxy, forming a massive Milkdromeda galaxy. After 7 billion years, the sun will grow into a red giant, swallowing both the Earth and the moon in the process. In 100 trillion years, the birth of new stars will end as galaxies are depleted of gas clouds. In 1 nonillion years, the universe is dark, and all that's left are massive black holes. Eventually, after a Google nonillion quadrillion years, the cycle may reset with another Big Bang.
Creepy last words people said.
That's
right
an insane
before
amount of
dying.
information.
Rachel said that she had been caring for a female patient who was dying of stage 4 lung cancer for weeks. She was frail, her voice barely more than a whisper, but sharp as ever. One night, during her rounds, Rachel said that the patient stopped her with the question, "Did you see him?" she asked. "See who?" asked Rachel. "The man in the suit. He comes when the lights are low, stands by the window. He's handsome, but his eyes." She shuddered. "He keeps asking me if I want to make a deal," she said. "He says he can take it all away. The pain, the sickness. I tell him no every night. Every night I tell him no," she said. Rachel said that she thought it was the morphine talking, until her last night she gripped Rachel's hand and whispered, "He's angry tonight. I told him no again." Her breathing grew heavier. "He said it was my last chance." Rachel squeezed the patient's hand and told her to rest, but as she turned to leave, a chill ran down her spine. The room felt different, heavy even. An hour later, the patient had passed away. Rachel said that she whispered a quiet goodbye and glanced out the window. For a split second, she said that she swears she saw something, a figure in a black suit, watching, and then just as quickly, he was gone.
I'm so embarrassed to live in Canada because why is this man who violently raped 2 women out on bail? This isn't even the first time that something like this has happened. Canada is known for this shit. There is literally little to no consequences for these kind of crimes or just any crime in general. So if you live in Ontario, specifically the Hamilton area, you want to avoid this disgusting man at all costs. He is very dangerous and he's out on bail. This is 22-year-old Lakeith Cherrieux, and on July 13th, he attacked a woman who was walking on a trail and dragged her into a wooded area and raped her. He tied her wrists behind her back and he eventually stopped when someone was approaching the trail, so he fled the scene, and this is the footage and photos that they got. But it doesn't even end there, because on August 7th, he entered a 74-year-old woman's home while she was sleeping and he raped her for over an hour. Police were able to connect both of the attacks to him and he was arrested, but he was just released on bail. And then right after he was let out, the police come out with a statement that says, "Hamilton police warning the public after sexual assault suspect released." So my thing is, instead of trying to warn us of someone who is extremely dangerous, why not just keep him behind bars? Make it make sense.
Most unusual places in the world. Located in Quebec, Canada, this forest has a pretty creepy atmosphere. It might be because the ground looks like it's moving, making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath. This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building. Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be a hiking area before it got flooded, so everything you see here used to be above water. Imagine being a fish and seeing this appear out of nowhere.
You'd be so confused, like, what the hell's going on?
Shortly after that video was posted on TikTok, the 14-year-old girl who took the video, named Scarlett Vickers, would be murdered by her own father. Scarlett was your average girl living in the United Kingdom. But sadly, on July 5th, 2024, she would end up dead. Now, initially, Scarlett's 50-year-old father, Simon, claimed that he and his daughter had been having a play fight in the kitchen. They were throwing objects at each other, he said, and he accidentally grabbed the knife and threw it at his daughter, and that's how she died. It was a big accident. But authorities called bullshit. You see, Scarlett had been inflicted with a 4-inch deep stab wound. A stab wound that had punctured her body at a 90-degree angle. There was a lot of contention in the courtroom as Simon tried to defend himself,
and acted like he was not complicit in his own daughter's murder, but on January 27th, 2025, he was found guilty of killing his own daughter, and he will now be sentenced on February 10th. It's still unclear, though, exactly what happened that evening. Sadly, through all the investigating that authorities did, they couldn't tell exactly what had happened that had caused this situation. Was there a fight? Was there a big argument? Why did Simon stab Scarlett? Those are the details that are still unknown, and since Simon, throughout the trial, refused to share the whole truth with the court, sadly, the reality of this situation was probably taken to the grave with Scarlett. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. One of your photos that you have today will be used in your funeral. There are more slaves today than any other time in history. According to the founder of the Walk Free Foundation, there are 46 million slaves in the world today. Your eyes can still move after your death for 15 to 30 seconds. Watching TV for more than 2 hours a day can shorten your life expectancy by 1.4 years. In 1977, we received a radio signal from space that lasted 42 seconds. To this day, no one knows where that signal came from. A lit candle causes more than 15,000 house fires every year. Spider rain could happen at any moment above you. Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the 2017 version of It, was born in 1990, the year the original It was released. Yeah.
So he was born to play Pennywise.
Fun facts you wouldn't believe are true. A horse jockey once died halfway through a race and won. Neil Armstrong almost had to sue his barber for selling his hair. Professional cheesemakers are now studying whether music can change the taste of cheese. There was once a 10-year-old gymnast who finished 3rd in the Olympics. There's a Starbucks cup in every single scene in the movie Fight Club.
Hold up, who's that 10-year-old gymnast, man, that competed in the Olympics? Must be the youngest Olympian ever. You're gonna have to look that up, man. Confirm if that's true or not. What medal did the 10-year-old win? Gold, silver, bronze?
Less than 1 second. Venus. 1 second.
Oh, you gone.
Saturn. 2 seconds. Mars. Less than 2 minutes. Mercury. 2 minutes. Jupiter. Less than 1 second. Uranus. Less than 1 second. Pluto. Less than 3 seconds.
Oh.
Earth. 80 to 90 years.
Experts are saying this is how the
Interesting.
world will look by 2050. Trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video so we can come back and see if these predictions were right. These are the most popular theories. People will be able to live on after death through AI. It would be like a digital twin clone of you that will continue to live on for the rest of, well, existence in the AI world. Or, a bit more personal, we might actually be able to upload our brains to computers to live on. In fact, a Google engineer has said that this merge with machines will happen by 2025. That's next year! We will have found intelligent aliens. However, whether this is a good or a bad thing is still left unknown. And finally, uninhabitable portions of the Earth. Due to climate change, humidity and heat will make it almost impossible for humans to survive outdoors in these areas. Do you think any of this will happen by 2050? Let me know in the comments. You ain't lying!
I think the AI one is most likely, man, because the way they pushing AI, especially, man, it's getting to everything. Gaming, pictures. The internet, you name it, so you know they probably
Not
working
so
on
fun
that.
facts to completely ruin your day. Criminals who are considered unattractive usually receive a 50% longer jail time sentence than everybody else. So, if you ever get caught committing a crime, you better hope that judge thinks you're cute. If the apocalypse was to ever actually happen, anybody who takes medication daily is just completely fucked. So occasionally the sun lets out these super massive bursts of plasma energy that could wipe out satellites, the power grid, and the internet for decades. And the only way to stop it is to see it ahead of time and then turn off everybody's power for a few days. On a brighter note, if this does happen, you'd be able to see the northern lights from anywhere.
Wow, I didn't know that.
These women were promised a surrogacy job but ended up being trapped on a human egg farm. In August of 2024, a woman was scrolling on Facebook when she came across a job ad promising an income of $11,000 to $17,000. She was very intrigued, so she messaged the page and they told her that it was to become a surrogate mother for couples in the country of Georgia. The woman ended up agreeing to do this job and the employer paid for her passport application and other travel expenses. She and 10 other women traveled to Georgia and were led by a Thai woman believed to be working with the human egg farm. Once those women arrived, they were taken to an area with about 4 large houses, and they were met with about 100 other Thai women already living there. What these women were promised was a complete lie, and what these women would go through would be like a real-life horror movie. They were given hormones to stimulate their ovaries, and once a month they were given an anesthetic so that they could take their eggs. Their eggs were sold and trafficked to other countries for IVF, and they were never paid for any of this. The people behind all of this were Chinese gangsters, and they went by the name Egg Mafia. A woman was able to be released only because she paid the Mafia about $2,000, and when she returned to Thailand, she alerted the authorities. On January 30th of this year, the Foreign Affairs Police were able to help 3 other women escape and go back to Thailand. Unfortunately, there are still many others waiting to be released.
This is why you can't always believe what you see. We are officially bringing back the This Is Why scary stories, and this one is an old creepypasta about a boy named Jimmy and his unusual parents. So Jimmy was just a normal boy living a normal life until one day everything went wrong. One night he had a terrible nightmare, so he ran into his parents' room and screamed that there was a monster under his bed. His parents, of course, reassured him that there's no monsters anywhere in their house until they heard it too. There were loud thumping noises coming from Jimmy's room and then just silence. So his mom went to check on her husband, leaving Jimmy alone. And that's when Jimmy heard the same noise again, this time even louder. After his parents didn't come back for a while, Jimmy decided to find out what was going on. So he tiptoed his way back into the room and saw his mother cleaning the floor and his father just leaning over the bed. His mother then turned around and said, "Oh, sorry, your father slipped on a toy and tore your bed. He's sewing it back up and I'm just cleaning the mess." So after that, Jimmy didn't really think anything was wrong, but his parents started acting really weird. And that night, Jimmy felt like his bed, which his dad had just fixed, was lumpy and uncomfortable. Maybe he had sewn it incorrectly, Jimmy thought before he fell asleep. But soon things got worse. Jimmy's room began smelling really bad at night and he even had to sleep on the floor. Until one day he just couldn't stand it anymore and cut open the line of stitching that his father had sewn. And that's when he finally discovered the truth. As he opened the bed, he saw that surrounded by the stuffing were the decaying but recognizable bodies of his parents. He screamed at the sight of their rotting skin. And that's when he heard a knock at his door. "Jimmy, are you okay?" came his mother's voice, then his father's. "See, I told you, there are no monsters under your bed. Follow for more."
She drew at the same time.
Story was the picture that came out of the Varana cruise liner, large ship that went down at the Atlantic Ocean in 2014, and nobody really knew why at the time. There were very few survivors of this, and the news kind of mulled over this for months. They were doing deep dives onto the ship to look for very sinister evidence and relics. Of those who did survive, they all kind of shared this very strange story because they claimed they saw something kind of unexplainable in the water. For a while, it just kind of continued as that. It was just a story. These things kept going on. People kept diving down there, trying to collect relics, evidence, anything they could from the ship, and they found this. The phone of one of the passengers who died, and even though it was waterlogged for a long time, it was still semi-functional. On the phone, this was a photo that was apparently found, leaked from an evidence bank in 2017, and it's hard to refute what this picture is. An unexplained shot of just someone standing in the water, eerily enough taken on the same day the ship sank.
Looks like a mermaid, or it could be a siren or something.
Orbit facts about World War I. that will give you nightmares. During the First World War, Canadians were obsessed about killing Germans, and many of them went against the truce laws by pretending to show mercy to those who surrendered, only to change their mind later on and shoot them unknowingly. During the war, sometimes soldiers would throw cans of food over trenches, so the starving soldiers would rush to grab the canned food, but little did they know that grenades were waiting for them as well. In the northeastern part of France, there are still some areas that are off limits to the public, because they are still full of unexploded chemicals such as mustard gas and many others.
Damn. The Canadians are supposed to be nice.
Really
hardcore.
weird human body facts that I can guarantee you didn't know. Cortisol is a stress hormone that is only released through sweat and tears. So if you're like really stressed out, working out and crying can actually make you feel better. But if you're not doing either of those things, that hormone will actually get turned into fat cells. It's extremely common for people to have the urge to poop just before having a heart attack. When you die, one of the last senses to go is actually your hearing. So just imagine, right after you pass, your entire family is just talking shit about you. I'm talking.
Was that her sister in the back?
I don't know if I can visit Mexico.
Why?
Bro, they have the scariest urban legends.
For real?
Yeah, they got La La Chuza, which is a shape-shifting witch that looks like an owl and is 7 feet tall with the face of a woman. And you're not supposed to go outside if you hear whistling in your window.
What else?
Oh, and La Llorona. She usually stays near bodies of water. She wears a white gown, long hair, and she's always crying for her children that she actually drowned. So you're next if you see her while driving on the side of the road.
Oh my god.
There's like this abandoned Disney park in Veracruz, Mexico.
What about it?
It has a statue that moves at night. There was 2 people exploring the abandoned park and caught it on video. Fam, you gotta check this out.
No, aguanta, deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, deja que mi cámara enfoque bien. Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, güey, eso no es el velador. No digas perras mamadas, no digas mamadas. Güey, es que era el vestido también así, güey. Amarillo.
And it's static, frozen. I'm good on Mexico.
But they do have beautiful women.
You're right, we might have to risk it.
That dog was locked in, bro. He got the perfect podcast partner, man. That dog was locked in on that video.
Terrifying games you don't want to play, part 24. The Travel Man game. If you play this game correctly, the rewards could be great. But if you're greedy, you just might lose everything. To play this game, you will need to summon the mysterious Travel Man. To do this, you will need a candle or lantern and an empty household. You'll need to wait until night falls, light the candle, and go to your own front door. Next, you'll need to knock on the door 3 times while saying the words, Travel Man, come make me a deal. Finally, you'll need to repeat these steps every night for the next 7 nights. If you follow these instructions carefully, on the 7th night you may be greeted by a well-dressed entity carrying a briefcase. This is the Travel Man. He will immediately open his briefcase and offer you an item of little value, such as an apple or a small sum of money. You can accept this item, ending the game and banishing the Travel Man, or you can decline. If you decline, he will offer you an item that is slightly more valuable, and this process will continue until you accept his deal. However, be warned, with every item you decline, there is a chance he will accuse you of being too greedy and demand something from you instead. Your soul or your life. Comment whether or not you would play this game, and follow for more.
No! Don't play those type of games.
People
Never.
are freaking out after finding out what this actually means. So some of you have probably had this before. If you don't know what this is, it's like a twitch in your eye. Sometimes you'll just be relaxing, going about your day, or normally in the morning when you first wake up, and your eye, either above there or under there, will just start randomly twitching, and whatever you do, it won't go away. Now this is actually known as myokemia, which is involuntary spasms of these bits in the eye. Now this is actually surprisingly pretty common. A lot of people get this, especially when they first wake up in the morning. Now, normal eye strain can be a bit worse and lead to all of these different symptoms, and normal eye strain itself can cause this over time. Now, the reason you get the twitching eye is down to these things right here, most commonly having a lot of caffeine or not getting enough sleep, but also other things impact it like stress, or if you're in a job you don't really enjoy, because essentially all it is your muscles getting tense, which causes it to spasm. And if you're constantly looking at a computer or something, that's probably going to get tense. And if you have too much caffeine or aren't getting enough sleep, it will stimulate this, and that's why you literally cannot get it to stop.
Don't touch this.
Interesting.
So people are freaking out just finding out why they should never ever get a receipt.
So most receipts use thermal paper which contain many chemicals that are really not good for you. BPA to be specific, which is easily absorbed into your bloodstream when you touch it, which is mad to even say. Now of course these chemicals that are being absorbed when you touch a receipt are not very good for you. They're very toxic and harmful. Some so bad they can actually disrupt hormones, so bad it can actually cause infertility and even increase your risk of cancers. Yeah. Now, if you live in the UK or Europe, receipts don't contain as many chemicals, which is weird, but somehow they don't. But if you live in the US, you've got the bad bit here because they are very bad. Although even here in the UK, they're still not going to be good for you. Containing more toxics than if you were to touch or lick a toilet seat. Now, I hope you wouldn't be scanning your receipts, but still by touching them, as I say, it can absorb into your bloodstream, which isn't good. So many people now are just opting for email receipts and not touching these receipts because they're bad. Now, of course, you're not all going to get ill, just touching it every now and again isn't that bad. But if you're constantly touching these things every single day, it's not good for you.
He slashed.
Man, that put me on road. Every single time I get a receipt, man, I've been getting, you know, the text box, but now I'm probably about to do that for everything, man. Limit touching these receipts. They can change your hormones and stuff too, man. These clips, we learning every single day.
Throats, ripped out entrails, and wielded a knife with surgical precision. His name is Jack the Ripper. He murdered at least 5 women, mostly prostitutes, in or near London's Whitechapel district from August 7th to November 10th, 1888. His victims were Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. The throat of each victim was cut, and usually the body was mutilated in a manner indicating the murderer had considerable knowledge of human anatomy. But the nature of these murders strongly suggested a single perpetrator. Authorities received a series of taunting notes and letters from a person calling himself Jack the Ripper. Anti-Semitic slurs were found scrawled on a wall in chalk, suggesting it was written by the killer. It was a mystery that endured for more than 130 years. Until recently. Aaron Kosminski is thought to be the terror behind Jack the Ripper. He was a Polish barber who, according to confidential police reports, had a great hatred of women and strong homicidal tendencies. But there wasn't hard evidence. In 1890, Kosminski had a suspected schizophrenic breakdown and threatened his sister with a knife. He was committed to Colney Hatch Lunatic Asylum, where he later died 28 years later. Author and Ripper researcher Russell Edwards has uncovered photos showing Kosminski's brother Isaac dressed as a member of the Lodge of Israel Freemasons, which may explain why Kosminski escaped justice. Edwards bought victim Catherine Eddowes' bloodstained shawl at auction. It was later found to have the DNA of both the victim and Kosminski. Edwards has hired a legal team to fight for an inquest on the grounds that there are further evidence for a coroner to consider about the circumstances of the death and, crucially, who was responsible. Karen Miller, who is the 3 times great-granddaughter of Miss Eddowes, and other family members of the victims are backing Edwards and the legal application for a new inquest in the death of Eddowes.
Things happening right now. The average U.S. couple gets married after 5 years being in a relationship now, when it was only 2.5 years back in the 90s. A Florida man stole a Cybertruck, did $20,000 in damages, and then brought it to his house to tear it apart while the cameras were recording everything. 95% of all sales during Black Friday this past year were financed. 67% of that was not intended to pay it back in the next 30 days. I think everyone's struggling to maintain their normal status quo of life right now. A major AI conference was flooded with reviews about the conference written in AI. A 31-year-old Brazilian billionaire is saying that his entire fortune is gonna go to Neymar. He's still alive and legally registered it to him because of, quote, his humility and family values. A heavily intoxicated raccoon passed out in a liquor store bathroom after breaking in. A man tried to rescue an injured raccoon, got bitten on the face while driving, and then learned that it had rabies. Ragebait was named Word of the Year for 2025 by the Oxford University Press. Columbia, the sportswear company, pledged to give the entire company to anyone who can actually prove that the Earth is flat. A scientist decided that the botflies that got into his skin can live there and reach maturity so that he can document what happens.
At this point in 2026, I'm going to be conducting a brand new series of videos because it seems to be that we are getting to a point where we can't tell if these videos are either AI or they're real.
Facts.
The next video that I'm going to share with you looks too real to be fake. As a matter of fact, take a look at the video for yourself, and then you be the judge. Check this out.
AI. No way that's real.
This video in particular has gone super viral all over social media, with a lot of people claiming that it's real, and others are claiming that it's AI. And this is not the only video or angle of this encounter with these alleged aliens that's floating around all over social media. So I guess my question to you is, as I kick off this new series, what are your thoughts on what I just showed you? Because there are a lot of alleged claims that those things are already walking amongst us. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
That's AI.
Ludacris exposes how easy it is for the media to stage and fake the news.
Man, working in film and television never gets old, man. I am on a set right now. Something really exciting I'll be able to tell you guys soon enough, but I was just thinking to myself, this neighborhood is a setup. It's not even real. I think Desperate Housewives was shot in this neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken, but how dope is it that it feels like you're working from home if you were to shoot in this little made-up ass neighborhood? None of this shit is real. Matter of fact, just because we on stories, let me show y'all what I mean. I'm gonna go inside with me.
Show us the truth, bro.
Wouldn't it be great to work in this environment? All of it. Set it up, whatever you want. Just checking in with y'all. Exciting things on the way. See you soon.
You're now living in
It goes to show you, man. Like I said, bro, the internet, the media and stuff, bro, it's not real. They can perceive to make it seem whatever like they wanted to make it like. What I mean by that is, man, they can make you see whatever they want you to see. Like, they can hide, not show the truth, manipulate, bro. The fact that he said Housewives of Atlanta, I don't know, not of Atlanta, but somewhere, one of those Housewives shows. I know y'all seen them on TV all the time, shoots there to make it seem like they're in a normal house. But the fact that it was like a Hollywood set, I hadn't even thought of that they could do that. That's mind-blowing, actually, bro. They built a small town, bro, just to shoot there. Why?
a period of time where you can actually read the book of Revelation and then look outside, look at what is happening in our world, look at the technology, look at the news headlines, and actually understand how something could play out. So everybody remembers when he said this, right? His supercomputer located in Memphis was the training center for his AI, which is titled Grok. Then he insinuated that that AI would be our new God. So the absolute new thing that we have right now with Grok is it is bringing images to life. You can give Grok an image and it will bring it to life. 50 years ago, this wouldn't have made any sense, but now in late 2025, it's making perfect sense. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, so an image of the Antichrist, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast, who is the false prophet, was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. So he brings the image to life, and that image is going to be worshipped as God. Y'all, we are commanded by our Savior to be watchful. We are expected not to be sleeping like the world is. God gave us the signs of the end for a reason. As followers of Christ, we are expected to be watchful of those signs. We are expected to be paying attention to what is going on in this world and to be comparing it to the living Word of God. So when those scriptures, when those verses start to come to life in our news headlines, as they are doing, as they have been doing, as we live and breathe right now, we are expected to be the light in all of this darkness and to sound the alarm, to stand on the truth that we are living in the last seconds of the last.
Bug shoots out a sticky goo, which is scraped off the tree and washed in a giant pot.
Next, it's laid out on the ground to dry, before getting stuffed into a long sock over a hot furnace. And as it rotates, the dried goo melts, dripping onto the tray below. It's then sprayed into an even layer and stretched by a worker using their hands and feet until it's nearly transparent. Finally, it's cut into small pieces, shipped to factories around the world, and mixed into candy to make it shiny. So when you bite into a jelly bean, you're basically eating bug goop.
Okay. Noted. In the big 2026, we would not be eating jelly bean, bro. The fact that they use candy poop to coat it? The question, they said that the worker uses their feet. That has to be violating some type of law, right? No way, man. We don't know what we're putting in our mouth, bro, on these screws nowadays, bro. That's so sad, man.
Freaking out finding out what the opposite of deja vu is, and it's even more terrifying. So you've definitely all had deja vu before, where you feel like you've been somewhere where you actually haven't, but there's an opposite, and it is genuinely insane. So there is something called jamais vu, which is where you go somewhere familiar, but you don't have any recognition of it, even though you know you've been there before. Or when you see something that's familiar, but somehow it feels wrong, a little bit like the backrooms in liminal spaces. You could be looking at a place you go to all the time, looking at your own handwriting, looking even at a photo of a friend, and something doesn't feel right, you do not recognize it at all for a split second. Now, this basically happens when your brain actually glitches and stops recognizing something. It's like your brain goes into like a reset mode. And this often causes people to go into a panic because they're like, I know I've been here, but I don't know what is going on right now. The scary thing about it, though, is the thing that your brain is actually glitching on you. Like, I'm not playing flipping COD, but it isn't harmful, it's nothing to worry about, it's very normal, a lot of people get it, but people freak out because they don't know why they've forgotten everything, and it's like their memory has just suddenly been wiped.
Scary. Hologram fairly. It looks normal so far. There you go. It's glitching out, bro. Look at her eyes, man. Caught it in 4K, bro. I see that. Like, one of my eyes normal, the other one isn't. Or they both going blank, bro. Yeah, we definitely see that, man.
Somebody gotta let me know what this is. This dude was on Google Earth, and he scrolled in Antarctica, and he came across this shit right here. He said an insect. Nigga, that don't look like no insect to me. That look like a big ass motherfucking animal.
Yep.
That I ain't never seen before. Like, with 6 legs or some shit. Y'all, look at this video.
Ain't no damn insect.
Somebody gotta let me know, dude. I be wondering how people be scrolling and finding shit. I'm trying to do this shit. I'm trying to go look on Google Earth too, see what I can find. But this shit just be crazy, fool. Look at that shit. Don't look like a camel. But there ain't no camels in the cold. And if we was to go the insect route, that junk gotta be a big ass bed bug. That's what it looked like if it was an insect. But I don't know. What do y'all think that is down below in the comments? Let me know, fool. All I know is this ain't no damn rock. This junk look like a fucking creature, fool.
The whole CIA document is just absolutely wild. There was this remote viewer. His task was to look up where the Galactic Federation headquarters is at. And he talks about the surroundings. It's on our world. And there's these huge mountains, and there's a giant lake. The guy says it seems a lot like Lake Titicaca in Peru. He entered this chamber. There's this hallway, and in the middle of this room was this, all of a sudden from above, there was this beaming white light, and there was a group of entities standing in white robes. He said it seemed very spiritual, religious. He didn't know how to describe it. In 2000, Italian archaeologists discovered at the bottom of Lake Titicaca was this ancient temple.
No way.
that really matched up with this CIA document. It's also the highest lake in the world over significance.
The Bible talks about how if there was this fallen angel civilization high in the mountains and like we're above destruction for like God to flood it and be like, you're not beyond my reach. Yeah.
Cost of living crisis has got so bad that people are now buying homes on Amazon. I'm not gonna lie, $20K for a house? So a couple of weeks ago, a YouTuber called Unspeakable made a video where he bought everything you need to live off of Amazon, including a house. But after it got clipped and put on TikTok, it went mega viral and people actually started buying it. And you'd be surprised to hear that it's actually not that bad. They have almost everything a regular house has: a kitchen, living area, bathroom, toilet, and even a shower. But the difference is that these houses only take a few hours for you to build. And if any of you are bloody judging right now, a recent survey showed that up to 68% of Gen Zs, who are now as old as 26, still live with a family member because they can't afford to rent or buy their own place. And 90% of millennial homeowners have regrets about buying their first home. Should have got them free Amazon house returns. Now granted, you still need to buy land to put it on and sort out electric and plumbing. But with all things considered, the question is buying a house on Amazon an L or W purchase?
It's 2026, man. Who's still buying those Amazon homes, bro? But the fact that study's interesting, man. He said that some of those homeowners regret buying it, and like I said, people, the NGs over 26, man, they still can't afford rent to get their own place, bro, because the cost of living is just so high nowadays, bro. It's just like, it's just easier to stay with a family member, bro, until you're ready to make that leap. That's crazy, though, bro. Buy the whole boat for Amazon, man, and set it up within hours, bro. It's only $30,000. Who's doing that, man? It's cost effective, man, but you gotta set up all that other crap. It can't be me, though.
When the Simpsons make a prediction, that shit is right. There's a theory going around that NASA has been working on something secretly called Project Anchor since 2014. And this is one of those theories that once you hear it, you can't unhear it. So there's a belief that back in 2014, the government quietly greenlit something called Project Anchor after being warned about a very specific moment in time. August 12th, 2026 at 14:33 p.m. 7 seconds. At 7 seconds where gravity just stops. The theory goes like this. It's not permanent. It's not an explosion. It's not the end of the planet. It's a temporary gravity collapse. Long enough to cause absolute chaos, but short enough that the planet survives. People say that's why it's being treated as a containment problem and not a public warning. According to the conspiracy, governments were told that even a few seconds without gravity could be catastrophic. Planes lose lift. Skyscrapers shift. People near ledges don't come back down the same way. Allegedly, and I do say allegedly, there are estimated tens of million deaths globally, not from space, but from sudden vertical movement, impact, and infrastructure failure. And this is where Project Anchor supposedly comes in. The idea isn't save everyone. It's stabilize what matters. Military installations, data centers, government ingenuity sites, underground facilities, anchoring systems, counter-mass experiments, emergency gravity dampening. And that's not for us. That's for them. Now, I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but just imagine some shit like that happens. Just imagine if you're outside and we lose gravity. Just imagine how that would look where we're at right now. 7 seconds could be a long time, and that's all it would take to change everything. Pay attention.
So did y'all know when the Venezuelan dollar collapsed, they started to pay in gold nuggets? They're paying for their groceries, getting their haircut, and whatever else they need to pay for in gold nuggets. And the price tag you see is the weight of gold that you need to purchase said item. And this is how they are doing it. As you can see, they're putting it right there. That's how much he paid, 1 gram of gold. This all happened because hyperinflation hit Venezuela and their dollar became useless to the point that you have people making origami out of their dollars. Now America, hyperinflation is now hitting us too. Could this potentially be how we pay for things in the future? We're seeing hyperinflation ourselves as we almost seen the dollar drop 10% in 1 year. This could very much be our reality very soon.
And they already taking steps to make this happen, as we see Florida being the first state to legitimize silver and gold being transactions. But y'all let me know in the comments though, what's y'all thoughts of Venezuela paying with gold nuggets, and could it be coming to America soon? Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
You got.
So we're about to start paying in gold and silver, man. So we're just gonna completely, I guess, transition away from the dollar, bro. It's gonna lose all its value, and it's all in gold and silver. But the fact is, now they're paying in gold nuggets. If you got some gold nuggets, if you go over there and get some gold nuggets, bro, and bring it back, would that make you like a millionaire or billionaire? Or am I just tripping, bro? Or that's crazy. Could we actually see a shift in the money system? Dollar's useless. We only gonna use gold and silver, bro. Like in the old days, you know, using the gold and silver coins. Interesting. I'm going to keep watch on that.
Remember that mother that was accused of leaving her 2 babies in her hot car to get lip filler? Well, it turns out that she was actually getting a BBL. I'm so tired of hearing the same story over and over again, but this happened in June 29, 2025, when 20-year-old Maya Hernandez had an appointment at this clinic called Always Beautiful Med Spa in Bakersfield. She took her 1-year-old and her 2-year-old to her appointment, and despite the spa employee telling her that she can bring her children inside the clinic with her, she still left them in the car. Maya claims that she left the AC on, she left crackers and drinks, and she mounted her phone so they can watch shows while she was at her appointment. She got to her appointment at 2 p.m. and she finished at 4:30, but it turns out that her car's AC automatically turned off after 1 hour. Now, between 2 and 4:30, Maya did not check on her kids once. And I find this so difficult to understand, because wouldn't any person with some common sense fear that their AC might turn off? So when Maya was finally done getting her BBL, she went to her car and she saw her 1-year-old foaming from his mouth. And I think this is the most torturous thing you can do to a person, because not only were these babies trapped in a boiling hot car, but they were also strapped into their car seats. And the story just gets worse, because the employee that works at the clinic testified and said that when Maya found her children in that state, it took her more than 15 minutes to call police. The police arrived, her 1-year-old wasn't breathing anymore and was pronounced dead, and her 2-year-old did survive. And I find this part to be very devastating, but also educational for anyone who has babies, even though you're not supposed to be leaving any child in the car. But it was said that the reason why the 1-year-old did not survive and the 2-year-old did is because of their age difference. And that's because babies at the age of 1 are not able to regulate their body temperature.
I have a personality test I want to try on you. There's this picture. Depending on which girl you find attractive the most, will tell me so much about your personality.
Okay, so this is the picture.
Each one corresponds to a different personality trait that you have.
What I found most attractive here?
This point.
This one.
Interesting.
Yeah, the first one that
really, actually?
Yeah.
Yo, this is so accurate, because I tried it on other people and it makes so much sense.
Wait.
Which one do you think I picked?
This one?
Yeah, I picked D. So you picked A.
Yeah, A.
If you picked A, you're more likely to like girls that are more introverted, shy, less confrontational, and overall more agreeable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So if you chose B, you're more likely to go after girls that are more bold, confident, and determined. So C is you like people who are relaxed, easygoing, and open-minded. And then D, the one I picked, you like people that are determined, decisive, hardworking, and overall persistent.
Oh my god.
It's very accurate,
That's
no?
accurate.
So there's certain elements to a face that kind of bring out character.
Stickers, which one you pick? A, B, C, or D? Tell me down below, bro. See if that personality test, if it actually matches up.
It manifests who you become.
Oh, now we are getting somewhere. Now we are remembering who we are. See, they gonna call it a conspiracy, but the body gonna always remember the truth. See, they sell you hydration, but never teach you purification. You don't just drink water, you purify it. But ain't that suspicious? How the most unexplained things are directly on top of living rivers? Ain't that suspicious? It's always about structure. The pyramids wasn't tombs, they was water temples. And the ancients structured water with sound, light, and pyramids, bro. Beneath every pyramid was water, but above, stars. Y'all remember the Nile River? Y'all ain't paying attention. It didn't just give water, it gave power. So while you paying for water, What you really need is frequency. And when you change your water, you change your reality. It's not just what you drink, it's how you vibrate. And see, living water connects you directly to the source itself. That's why they poison it. Living water, link in bio.
Germany just launched a military unit dedicated entirely to drones and robots, and they're calling it the Birds Group. The name comes from the bird's eye view that drones provide from above, and this unit will now take control of every single drone and unmanned system project across the entire German army. Here's why this matters. The Ukraine war proved that cheap drones can destroy tanks worth millions of dollars, and Germany realized their military technology is years behind. So instead of waiting on slow government contracts that take a decade to deliver outdated equipment, they're doing something different. The Birds Group pulls ideas directly from soldiers on the front lines, tests them fast, and scales the best concepts across the military. They've already shown off helmet-mounted drones that soldiers can deploy, hands-free, and augmented reality headsets that display live drone feeds directly in their field of vision. This is a complete shift from how militaries have operated for the last century, where decisions came from the top and took forever to reach the battlefield. Germany is Europe's largest economy, and if this model works, every NATO country will probably follow. Do you think faster military innovation is a good thing or a dangerous path? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed stories like this, follow my page for more.
We told y'all what Hollywood was about. We told you that everyone had to go through it. It don't matter if your name is The Rock and you think you are impervious. You're still going to have to do what everybody is doing in Hollywood. Y'all, The Rock's time in Hollywood might be coming to an end. Do y'all remember when he disappeared from the public for quite some time and then he came back out looking all scrawny and skinny and everybody's like, what the hell is going on? He just told us what happened, y'all. And he tried to do it in a sneakily way, but listen to him.
My soul. I know it sounds weird, but you leave your soul or something like this. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it. And now I understand. And you know what's cool is you never know with things like this because you make the film, especially something like this that comes from in here, and you do it for you. And you release it, you begin to release it to the world. It's like, hey, this is my kid.
Did you hear what he said? He said he sold his soul. He left his soul in Hollywood, for this lifestyle, and he didn't know what was going to happen in his life until now. And now they are telling The Rock to pay up, and he's got to pay up. Look at his face, y'all. He doesn't seem too happy about it, and he looks like he's got a lot going on in his head. Now, one or two things can happen from here. Either The Rock sells his soul once again, and then he excels in these movies and everything that he's about to do, or it's over for him. But like I've been telling y'all, nobody is saving Hollywood. You gotta do what you gotta do in order to get that money, right? To get that fame, right?
That's why I know it sounds weird, but you leave your soul or something like this. And I didn't know what that meant until I did it. And now I understand.
And now he understands. If you smell what Hollywood is cooking, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's get it. Peace.
When you found this out. If you're trying to get a splinter out and nothing's working, you can use glue to get it out. You can light birthday candles with spaghetti if it's too hot. You can use dental floss to slice perfect slices of cheese. While going on a trip, pack a couple clothespins to protect your toothbrush from touching a dirty counter. You can relieve the itchiness of a mosquito bite by putting a dab of clear nail polish on it.
Weird facts, okay.
Here are some crazy ocean facts that will blow your mind and will make you question whether you're ever gonna fucking go back in there. For starters, the discovery of monstrosities like this. The colossal squid. It don't look too bad there, Matt. Well, let me tell you that this measures the length of a school bus. This little guy's called a bearded fireworm. Don't be fooled by his cuteness. The thing from this little shit is so painful it makes you feel like your body is on fire while you're in the water. My brain! What kind of creation is that? Nature! You good? There is enough gold in the ocean for every single person on Earth to have 9 pounds of it. I can get my golden toilet. It is estimated that 2/3 of marine life is still to be discovered. With shit like the basking shark existing, what is down there? I'm uncomfortable. Not everyone knows about the box jellyfish. You know the thing that can make you go bye-bye in 2 minutes? Well, because of global warming, they're expected to appear in every beach all around the world. If you didn't know any of these, you have to share. Ian!
Disturbing facts.
Be careful out there.
To know. Did you
you know that sometimes doctors use teeth of dead people to make dentures? And talking about teeth, there's a fish in South America that has human teeth. And for some reason, it looks so creepy. If you ever see this cute frog, run away as fast as possible. Because it's called a golden poison frog, and it has enough poison to kill 15 humans in a few minutes.
Damn.
Now, we all know a chainsaw is used to cut wood, right? But did you know it was invented to assist childbirth? And finally, there are still around 40 million slaves around the world, with India having the majority of them at 8 million, mostly kids.
That's insane, man. We still at this point in the world, bro, and there's still slaves. Come on, man. We have to do better. Basic human rights right there, man. Damn.
Albert Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel in 1952, but he declined. Weird history facts. No one knew about the last one.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth I was so obsessed with sugar, her teeth started to rot while she was still alive. You can now check if a spyware has infected your phone. To find out, just click on Share, slide to the right, and then select More. If you see an unknown app, delete it immediately. The first orange wasn't orange, but green. So why is it called an orange? In ancient Rome, the practice of using urine as a teeth whitener was common due to its ammonia content, which acted as a natural bleaching agent. Now you can check if your phone is real or fake by commenting KSOS with only small letters. If TikTok gives you a warning, your phone is real. Comment if you get a warning. In ancient Egypt, servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Before the last fact, follow us to get smarter.
The further that you look into dark history, you start to realize just how dark it really is.
Talk about it.
This is Lorleen Wallace. She was the first female governor of Alabama, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. Dark history for Lorleen was that, legally, doctors did not have to tell her. They only told her husband. Let that sink in. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, terminal cancer, and only her husband was told. Her husband decided not to tell her. Legally, he didn't have to. It was thought at the time that women's nerves were too fragile to be able to handle news like this, so only their husbands were told. I think we're probably going to cover this on the podcast because this is actually a pretty in-depth story if you want to listen. Basically, the way this story ends is that Lorleen, she does become governor. She runs, but she only lives through the first year of her term. She was never initially told she was dying. So, I learned something?
Imagine you getting diagnosed with something, man, and somebody's just like withholding that information with you. And withholding that information from you because they think you're not strong enough to handle it. The laws back in the day, weird seekers. Absolutely weird.
Today, and I desperately need y'all to see this. I was today years old when I found out sea anemone can actually move. Yes, the same thing Nemo lived in and the same thing SpongeBob accidentally watched while trying to find a sports channel.
I remember that. Whoa.
I know I'm going to get that one comment, so I'm just going to say it. Sea anemone aren't plants, they're animals, and they're actually related to jellyfish. They're predators that feed on plankton, shrimp, and even small fish. They hunt by acting innocent and lulling their victim into a false sense of security before they snatch their soul and never let go. Basically, get out with more water. Most anemone have skinny tentacles that can clap fish, and some like the Dophlenia over here can cause severe pain in humans for months. The reason this one didn't cause a family reunion in the afterlife is because clownfish are covered in mucus that protects them from the sting. Also, clownfish poop provides nutrients for the anemone, so he basically lets them rock. But like, I knew all that, but I didn't know they could move. You can find this video on YouTube, or if you're SpongeBob, on C-Hub. Ben said popcorn, but hold the opsy. What a savage.
Here's something that you've been using wrong your whole life. Number 1, the top of your soda can, which is supposed to be a straw holder. You just have to turn it around and put your straw in the first hole. Okay, second one, I kind of feel like a disgrace to my people because I did not know this. We've all seen Chinese takeout boxes, right? But did you know that you're supposed to unfold them so they become disposable plates? Literally, it makes everything so much easier. But the next one really blew my mind. This is how you're supposed to peel an orange. You just cut the top and the bottom and one slice in the middle, and then it just unwraps perfectly. My mind is honestly blown by this. And now for the last one. If you've ever spilt your cereal, milk, or juice everywhere, that's because you're supposed to hold the carton upside down. This way, not as much liquid pours out all at once, and you won't spill. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a part 2, because there's so many of these life hacks out there.
Okay, so we have a Madeleine McCann update. Trust me, favorite this video right now so you can stay up to date with this story because this is insane! There's a lot to get through, so let's do it. Firstly, her family did actually release a statement in the end, essentially saying that they're really disappointed by this whole situation. And they also claim that photos of her when she was younger do actually exist, along with a birth certificate and hospital discharges. But apparently she took them before all of this started. As well, the family is saying that she doesn't take her medicine regularly and that she always wants to be famous, being a model and a singer. And that now she has over 1 million followers, she's gotten what she wanted. And that they do not want her to do the DNA test. Then a few days later, this came out on her actual Instagram story. Because she did actually end up doing the DNA test, that she has big news and that there's lots to reveal. But not only are they looking to see if she's Madeleine McCann, but also testing her DNA to see if she is the missing twin, Livia. This is mad.
What?
Kill me, man!
How the hell did she end up being like 2 missing people? Oh, we definitely going to have to get some more updates on that case, man. Because that one, we've seen those clips a couple of times, but that's
Animal facts that will make you sound smarter. The immortal jellyfish is a life cheat code that lets a Benjamin Button itself when times get tough, making it basically, well, immortal. On the opposite side, the mayfly is born with an expiration date of less than 24 hours. Every time the Earth does a 360, an entire generation gets Thanos. There was a shark that put entire nuclear submarines out of commission. And out of all the sharks that could have done it, it was the cookie cutter named after the holes they leave in dolphins, whales, and nuclear warships. The Arctic tern travels from north to south and back to the North Pole every year. In their lives, they'll travel the same distance as 3 round trips to the moon. They also experience 2 summers every year. Sharks can survive massive amounts of radiation, so instead of getting skin cancer, they just get suntanned. Not only are they cancer-proof, they're basically resistant to every disease known to man. Can't say the same about cheetahs because not only do they have one of the weakest immune systems, they're severely inbred, so they're really one pandemic away from getting straight up deleted. Zebras have the N-word pass because their skin's actually black. However, if you shave a tiger, its skin would still be striped. Goldfish can actually memorize things for 5 months. You probably know that parrots can talk, but elephants can be taught to mimic human speech, and one actually learned 5 words in Korean.
These are scary facts about popular childhood movies, part 1. Next up, in the movie The Adventures of Milo and Otis, it's been reported that upwards of 20 cats were killed during the filming of the movie. There's a lot of speculation behind this, because the film somehow got the approval of the American Humane Society, despite not having their officers present during filming.
What the hell? The American Humane Society?
This is Robert the doll,
deep
one of the
into
most
that
lonely
one.
dolls on the planet. So continuing the story from my last TikTok, the family actually locked Robert in the attic of the house because they were so afraid of him because he was moving and doing creepy shit. Didn't stop him. Apparently in the attic he would move stuff around, bang on walls, frighten the family. And kids walking by the neighborhood passing this house, this is their house, would see Robert sitting right up here in the window staring at them. People think that Robert was haunted because the person that gave it to Jean, this guy right here, put some black magic or voodoo curse on the doll. When Jean died, a new family moved into the house and a daughter in the family was delighted to find Robert in the attic. But she claimed that Robert attacked her. And eventually, because Robert was too scared to keep in the home, he was donated to a museum. You're not supposed to take photos of Robert, and people have supposedly taken photos of him and been cursed. And people who work at the museum have supposedly seen Robert moving around in his case and even tapping on the windows and finding scratches inside of the case. What do you think? Would you visit Robert? I want to go and take a picture and see what happens, but he seems pretty chill.
No, not me. I ain't mess with that bad energy, Seekers.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A nice old lady told a CNA that she wanted to wear all white. When asked why, she said the man in black is here. She looked in the corner of the room. The CNA looked, but there was no one there. That's when the nurse came into the room. They asked her to describe what she was seeing, and she said he's in all black, and he's got a top hat on. And then she whispered, and his eyes are red. While her eyes moved across the room to directly behind the CNA, like she was watching him move closer to them. She died later that night, but it was unexpected. That room creeped the nurse and the CNA out for a long time after that.
What do you guys think about that story? I would creep out anybody. We're learning from these clips today, Seekers. Picking them new info every day. Tap in with us. Edit. If y'all see any edits, man, y'all can call them out too.
Was camping in California when their son began to say something very creepy.
A family vacation that took a strange turn. They visited the same area where a missing woman was last seen.
He said that there was a woman staring at him in the field nearby.
Got goosebumps. He said she needs our help, but she's dead. And she
She's laying face down with her legs up. She can't talk to me, but she's over there. We need to go help her.
Freaked out by this, both of his parents went to go check the surrounding area, but
Okay.
found nothing.
They said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom. He kept saying, trust me, Mom.
After arriving home, Victoria posts about the experience to Facebook, and not long after she does so, the police came knocking at her door with photos of a woman named Sandra Johnson Hughes.
Whoa.
She had gone missing in the exact same location 1 year prior. Authorities would then proceed to exhaust their efforts searching the area over the next few days. Sadly, they would find nothing. If what this little boy was saying was true, experts believe that any evidence of her remains would be long gone by now. Could Caden have actually seen the ghost of this woman, or is his description merely a coincidence? What do you believe?
Black shirt,
Woo.
blue hair. He describes down to blue hair. Said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom.
Aiden was able to identify 3 out of 4 pictures of her. Detectives went back to the meadow with the Gorba family to investigate, but the case remains open.
These are some extreme.
I think he really seen the ghost, because like, how did he like nail exactly what she looked like? And he named 3 out of 4 pictures of her, bro. So he definitely saw something, man. Spirit, ghost, something you can't explain. But he definitely saw something, man.
Extremely unsettling facts, and I've found all of these on Reddit. The Conjuring is one of the most influential horror movies of all time, and actually helped pave the way for a lot of other movies that were to come along in the future. But there was a lot of dark stuff that went on behind the scenes. After they had finished their first day of filming, actress Vera Farmiga had noticed something very off. She had 3 very large claw marks on her body, much larger than any human could have possibly done. And when she was asked about it, she said, "There's no way that I could have left this and not known." And this further adds on to the urban legend of this movie actually being cursed. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the best known horror movies ever, but there's so much more behind this movie that I didn't tell you. Like the fact that the farm that this movie was filmed on actually had around 500 animal corpses underneath it. And where there's corpses, there's going to be a stench. And it got to be so unbearable that it got to the point that whenever the director would yell cut between takes, whether it was an actor, whether it was someone else working on the crew, would have to sprint off screen and go vomit. And finally, this is one place on Earth you cannot visit. But before I get into that, you guys, I delve into a lot of darker things, so if you want something a little more positive, make sure you go peep my bio. You won't regret it. North Sentinel Island is an island off the coast of India. This place is widely known as one of the places on Earth you cannot visit. This is because the Northern Sentinelese people who live there have become very aggressive to all visitors. They've also had very, very, very limited contact with modern civilization as we know it. Even when boats are going by, these people are known to throw spears and shoot bows and arrows at them. But there's a reason behind this.
Wow.
The people of the Northern Sentinel Island were brutalized and abused by colonizers years ago. And this caused them to be very shut off from the rest of the world and be very aggressive towards visitors. And if we're being real, if that happened to you, you would do the same thing. And look, I know these are pretty dark even for me, but that's why.
Hit the nail on the head with the last one, but that's it. You guys think that was foul play?
Your life. Baby chicks, while very sweet, are often grinded up. In many large factories, if they're baby roosters, they're just tossed into a grinder. Pretty gross. Did you know that in the United States alone, every year, around 2,500 people die from using right-handed equipment that were originally left-handed? Sucks to be left-handed. George Bush Sr. was the only man to survive after his plane was shot down in World War II by Japanese soldiers. Out of the 9 men that were cannibalized and eaten on by Japanese soldiers, Bush was somehow the only one to survive. Hopefully you like boogers, because Inuit mothers actually suck the snot out of their baby's nose. Nasty. Did you know there's actually 200 corpses right now on Mount Everest? Due to the body's elevation, they're actually left up there and perfectly preserved to the extreme climate and temperatures. They're used as guide points for climbers and hikers. Comment and let me know which facts disturb you the most.
I think the fact that people use on Mount Everest, man, they know that there's corpses and all that stuff around. There hasn't been, like, I guess, any attempts to take them off the mountain. They just use them as marker places. That's seriously messed up. They need to take those corpses down, man. Those families deserve that. The more you know, man. That's it.
ghosts in Pac-Man.
Talk about it.
Okay, so the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man are actually programmed to act differently. The red ghost chases you the entire game and doesn't stop following you. The pink one just tries to position itself in a set way to block you off, so that the other 3 ghosts can catch you. Next up, the blue one just tries to ambush you in every single way it can, and is definitely the most aggressive one out of the 4. And next up, the orange one is random. It could either chase you the entire game, ambush you, or just sit in one spot and position itself. So, next time you play Pac-Man, keep this video in mind.
It's a little cheat code. If you know what the ghost
Let's talk about a disturbing upcoming horror game where you have to get rid of a princess instead of save her. Slay the Princess. And this one looks horrifying. Just like the title says, this is a narrative-based game where you have to slay a princess. And of course, this is not an ordinary princess. She's hiding a very dangerous and dark secret. Just make sure you don't listen to her when she tries to convince you not to get rid of her. The game promises to have many different branching paths involving the princess turning into all sorts of different horrific things. Will you save her just to see what happens, or will you wait around and see what her true form is? There's a free demo of the game out right now on Steam, and this is easily looking like one of 2023's coolest horror games. And of course, I'll be covering it when it releases.
Since it's already out, are you guys gonna check that out, Seekers?
This is a story that shows you how real death can be. In Islam, when a baby is born, God gives the baby a name, a written life story, and a date of death. And on the day of death, nothing and no one will stop the angel of death. This is a story of a Lebanese family, a mother and her teenage son. The son and his friends plan a trip after their high school graduation to celebrate. They were planning to fly to another country. He told his mom about this plan, but she was very scared for him. He was her only son. She felt like he was still too young to travel on his own with his friends. She begged him for weeks. She begged him not to go, but he insisted. The night before his morning trip, the son packs his bags and is ready to meet his friends at the airport the next morning. The alarm doesn't usually wake this boy up. He always relies on his mom to wake him up. So he asked her to wake him up at a certain time before the flight. The mother's heart had a wrong feeling about this. She decided not to wake him up. She wanted him to be late and miss this flight. His friends gave up waiting for him, and they eventually took that flight. The plane crashes only minutes after takeoff from a technical failure. She immediately sees the news that the plane her son was meant to take crashes, and there are no survivors. She finally runs to his room to wake him up and show him the news. But her son was already dead. He had a stroke in bed the same morning. Whether he took that flight or not, he was meant to die on this day. One piece of advice: when your mother has a wrong feeling about something, listen to her.
10 facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help, but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. The spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair ever stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch, because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wires so the cops will pull them over. Then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
This is a maned wolf. It's one of the rarest animals in the world, and it's pretty terrifying. This is Vanta Black. It's the darkest material in the world and can make 3D objects look like 2D ones. This is one of the rarest and most terrifying parasites in the world. This evil parasite steals the fish's tongue and then takes its place. I never knew these existed. This is a brick road laying machine. If you look closely, you'll realize that this isn't 4 different pictures. This is one single picture. This is insane. This airport has a road going through it. And this is actually more colors than you've ever seen in your life. This is exactly 1 million colors.
How? That last one cap.
If you have one of these in your home, then you need to know this new chilling theory. TikTokers have claimed these new viral furry Labubus carry demonic energy, rumoured to be inspired by the demon Pazuzu. But Hotmart insists they're based on a children's book. Labubu owners have now taken to blessing their dolls with holy water to banish any evil the new toys may hold. This truck driver...
I've been seeing those Labubu dolls. They've been going viral recently. Any of the seekers got them? Any of those claims are true?
Took the life of 5 people because he was distracted on TikTok. On the morning of January 12, 2023, 36-year-old Danny Tyner was driving on Interstate 10 in Arizona when he drove his tractor trailer in to stop the traffic. This scene is so difficult to look at, but basically his truck sandwiched 2 other cars with another big truck at the front. These are the 5 victims that lost their lives on that day, and when Danny was asked what happened, he said that he looked down for a couple of seconds because he got a notification on his work tablet, and when he looked back up, there was not enough time to brake. But that wasn't true. When his phone was analyzed, it showed that he was actively using TikTok when the crash happened. Now, what I found disturbing was that during his interaction with police, he didn't seem too fazed. He was eventually charged with manslaughter and was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for each count of negligent homicide, which totaled to 22.5 years.
Don't use your phone when you're driving, man. Especially TikTok. You're just scrolling.
3 incredible historic photos that 99% of people don't know about. Number 3. A boy fell into a zoo enclosure and a gorilla took care of him. This snapshot was taken in 1996 and featured Binti Jua, an 8-year-old Western lowland female gorilla. Although gorillas are generally regarded as dangerous creatures, when a 3-year-old boy fell into her enclosure, Binti Jua took care of the child. Astonishingly, the child had managed to climb and fall 23 feet into the gorilla's habitat. Number 2. Stray dogs protected and nourished this abandoned baby. I like to believe that the 3 street dogs in this photo appear to be smiling at the camera. This snapshot, taken in 1996, shows a newborn girl who had been abandoned in a trash bin near Kolkata, India. These 3 friendly dogs came across the baby and took care of her for about 2 days. The 4-legged friends even tried to feed the newborn. Number 1. A Native American Olympian has his shoes stolen just before his race. In the photo, we see Native American athlete Jim Thorpe in 1912. Someone had just stolen his running shoes right before his Olympic track and field events. Instead of letting this unfair play deter him, he rummaged through trash bins and found a pair of mismatched shoes, which we see in the photo. This did not prevent him from winning 2 Olympic gold medals on the same day.
1 in a Million, Part 7. On the right is the facial reconstruction of a 9,000-year-old skeleton that was found in a cave in Cheddar, England. His DNA was tested, and researchers found that a living relative was teaching history class only a half-mile away from the site, linking back 300 generations. Out of the 40,000 windows within the Twin Towers, only 1 of them survived 9/11. It's believed to have come from the 82nd floor of the South Tower, one of the 9 floors that was struck by the second plane. The first person to die during the construction of the Hoover Dam was surveyor J.G. Tierney on December 20th, 1922. On the same exact day, 14 years later, the last person died. It was J.G.'s son, Patrick Tierney. Uncombable hair syndrome is an extremely rare condition that literally makes the hair impossible to comb. It currently affects less than 100 people across the globe. A married couple from China discovered that they were in the same photograph as teenagers more than a decade before they even met. On July 4th, 1826, President John Adams' last words before dying were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." But little did he know, President Jefferson had died just hours earlier that same exact day. Not to mention it was exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence was passed.
That was eerie.
Horses are much bigger than people, so naturally they just have a lot more blood than we do. So whenever horses get nosebleeds, it ends up looking like a whole crime scene. So one of the only reasons we know how many people died in the Titanic are the shoes that are laying on the ocean floor. Some are pretty cool, others are kind of depressing. And the reason we count the shoes instead of, bones is because when the Titanic hit the floor, all the corpses kind of just scattered and the fish ate the corpses, but the fish couldn't eat the shoes. If you ever decide to go climb Mount Everest, I hope that you remember that the crevices in the ice are V-shaped. which means if you were to ever accidentally fall down one, you more than likely wouldn't die instantly. Your body heat would melt the ice around you, causing you to slip further and further down until your chest couldn't expand enough to breathe. So make sure you bring a friend just as crazy as you to help get you out.
I ain't never gonna Mount Everest. Cross that off the list.
Car when a brick came flying towards her. In 2012, 29-year-old Olga Gaikovich was riding in the passenger seat with her family. They were driving down a road in Russia just like any other day. Their car had a dash cam, not knowing what it was about to capture. In the video, a semi-truck passes by the family's car when a brick is seen flying in the air going towards Olga. The brick smashes the window and hits Olga in the head. Everyone in the car is screaming while Olga has been knocked out by that brick. Olga was rushed to the hospital but later died from her injuries. This is your reminder to be safe on the road and always be observant.
Who threw that brick?
Is your school spying on you? I'd put money down and say that your school gave you a laptop to use for your studies. If so, open up Google Chrome on your computer and type in Chrome://policy. This is going to allow you to see what your admin, aka your school, has allowed on the device. If you open it up and there's nothing there, that is a good sign. But if some policies actually pop up, you're going to want to click these link out buttons to see what the policies actually mean. When you click on that, if there's anything related to video capture allowed or screen record allowed, your school is watching everything you do. I'd recommend covering that webcam up.
I never even thought about that before. When, you know, schools being nice, I remember when they was handing out all these laptops for the kids to use. They have another freaking purpose, man. That's crazy, man. Those backdoor systems they can put on the laptops.
The World's Most Dangerous Conspiracy Theories, Season 2. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say that once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking a couple from each category until we reach Tier 10, the point of no return. Alright, Season 2, welcome to Tier 1. Today we're going to be talking about Ouija boards. A Ouija board is a board printed with numbers, letters, and symbols in hopes of communicating with the dead. The history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as the game itself. A woman named Helen Peters claimed to be a very strong psychic and actually invented the board herself. Eventually, Helen Peters' brother-in-law named Elijah wanted to get these things patented so that he could sell these everywhere. Helen Peters and Elijah traveled everywhere trying to get this patent, but the offices said they couldn't release a patent unless they had proof of it working. But consequently, nobody in these offices wanted to even get close to the board for unknown reasons. Until one day they traveled to Washington, D.C., and the chief of patent walked in the room and said, "You don't know me and I don't know you." Then he said, "If this board can tell me my name, I will sign the patent for you right now." The board apparently spelled the man's name. He walked out of the office, looked at Helen Peters and said, "You got your patent." Years later, Helen Peters and Elijah had a falling out, and Helen said she no longer wanted anything to do with this board. Elijah, on the other hand, continued selling these boards until one day he fell off of a 3-story building. He actually survived the fall, and some bystanders saw his body laying in the road. They picked him up, put him in the car, and they hit a bump in the road, and his broken rib pierced through his heart. After that, the family sold the rights to the board, and all the way up until Helen Peters' death, her last words is, "Do not play the Ouija board, it lies." And now you can buy a Ouija board from any store, and they're marketed to children. So the question remains, are these boards just a hoax, or was Helen Peters trying to warn us of something much darker? Make sure to like and follow for Tier 2.
Here are some horror movie fates that are even worse than being sewn into a human centipede. Because just when you thought you've seen it all, I'm here to bring you the worst of the worst. I don't really see a lot of people talking about this, but there's one scene in this movie that still haunts me, and it's been years since I saw it. Wrong Turn from 2021 is about a group of friends who go hiking in the Appalachian Mountains. And there they encounter a cult called the Foundation, and this cult has a very unique justice system. And the scene that I'm talking about is how this cult chooses to punish people who commit crimes such as trespassing or even lying. One of the characters in this movie is sentenced to darkness, which is a punishment that is worse than death. And basically what that means is that their eyes and ears are burned out with a hot poker and their tongue is ripped out of their mouths. These people are then kept alive and thrown into a dark cave where they live the rest of their lives in silence and darkness. You literally see all of this happen in the movie, so that definitely traumatized me a little bit. But if you're into body horror, this movie will definitely give it to you. This is the 7th movie in the Wrong Turn franchise, but you don't really need to watch the other movies to watch this, it'll still make sense. A part of
of me kind of wishes that it was a standalone movie and had nothing to do with the rest of the lore, but overall I did like it. Let me know if you've seen any movies that you think are even more disturbing than The Human Centipede, and follow for more horror movie content every single day.
In Spain, they say if you hear a sack dragging after midnight, it's already too late. El hombre del saco, also known as the sack man, is known as an old man who carries his sack around and kidnaps children. He is ugly, skinny, and eats the children he kidnaps. But don't worry, this only happens to children who misbehave. In 1910 in Spain, some believed that drinking the blood of a child and taking their body fat and putting it onto another person's body would cure tuberculosis. There was a man named Francisco Ortega, and he had just been diagnosed with tuberculosis, and he was desperate to find a cure. He went to see a healer named Augustina Rodriguez, and she sent him to a man named Francisco Leona, who was a barber and a healer. The man told him he could cure him for 3,000 reales, which would be equivalent to $13,000 today. Francisco then went to Augustina's son, Julio, and told him that in order to find a cure, they needed to find a child. On June 27th of 1910, Francisco used chloroform on 7-year-old Bernardo Gonzalez Barra and placed him in a sack. He was then taken out of the sack and stabbed. Francisco then mixed Bernardo's blood with sugar and drank it. Bernardo was alive for all of this, and eventually he was taken to a place called Las Posicas, and his skull was smashed with a rock. Bernardo's body fat was then removed so they could use it on Francisco's body. Once they were done, they hid Bernardo's body in a crevice with herbs and stones. Once Julio found out that he wasn't going to be paid for any of this, he went to the authorities and told them that he found the body of a small child while he went bird chasing. Once authorities arrived, they took Francisco Leona, the healer, into custody. During trial, all 3 men got in trouble and received death sentences. Since then, many have been afraid of encountering El Hombre del Saco.
This is a test to see if you have healthy eyes. If you pass all 5 levels, your vision is perfect. All you have to do is pick 1 out of the 10 colors that is different from the rest. Starting off easy, you can clearly see that number 7 is lighter than the rest of them. 97% of people pass this stage, but it's about to get way harder. Okay, let's move on to medium. This one is a little more difficult and will require a little more attention. The correct answer is 2. Level advanced is even harder. Only 30% of people make it past this stage, so really focus and you'll see that the correct answer is 4. Superhuman. This level is really going to test your vision, and I know these look identical, but if you look closely, number 4 is slightly different. And the final level, impossible. 92% of people failed this level, and the answer is 10. Were you right? Comment below.
I think you kind of got
3 paranormal and mysterious stories that will give you goosebumps. Number 3. In the 19th century, in the town of Amherst in Nova Scotia, a chilling and terrifying tale took root. Esther Cox, an ordinary-looking young woman, claimed to be tormented day and night by poltergeists. The spirits that haunted her moved objects, slammed doors, and scratched her. Despite thorough investigations and numerous accounts of this chilling haunting, the enigma was never solved. The mystery remains obscure, weaving a web of intrigue through the decades. Number 2. In 1809, an autumn chill takes hold of Europe. Benjamin Bathurst, a renowned British diplomat, is en route to England after a vital mission in Austria. On the way back, Benjamin takes a stop at an inn, where he mysteriously disappears. Despite intense searches, there is no trace of him. No one in the inn saw him leave his room. His shoes and belongings are still there, but there's no trace of Benjamin. To this day, his fate remains shrouded in mystery. Number 1. The legend of Ben Sublet, a tormented miner, who allegedly discovered an evil gold vein of immense value that could fill the coffers of several kingdoms. However, the location of this mine remains an oppressive mystery. Skeptics question the existence of this colossal wealth, supposedly hidden in the gloomy Guadalupe Mountains of Texas. Is Sublet's insidious treasure, a specter of gold and desolation, still waiting in the dark depths, ready to bewitch the intrepid who tries to unearth it?
This is the disturbing moment this woman laughed in court after she took this 3-year-old's life in a random attack. On June 3rd, police received numerous phone calls about a stabbing at a grocery store parking lot in Ohio. At around 3 p.m. on this day, 38-year-old Margot Wood was loading groceries into her car while her 3-year-old son Julian sat in his car seat. That's when 32-year-old Bianca Ellis entered the car and began stabbing the little boy. When Margot noticed, she tried to stop the attack, attacker, and as a result, she was also wounded. Julian was then rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away. Now, what's disturbing was that this was a random attack, and after looking at surveillance footage, the attacker was seen following the mother and the child in and out of the grocery store. Then, when Bianca was brought into court, the judge began reading out the indictment, and she was seen smiling and laughing the entire time. And after an assessment was done on Bianca, they're arguing that she has bipolar disorder and had a psychotic break, which explains why she did what she did. And this story only gets crazier. Before this incident, Bianca confessed to another murder in Bakersfield, and she even gave details of what she did with this person's body. She also warned officers that if she wasn't arrested, she was going to murder someone and eat their flesh. But none of this was taken too serious, and she was released from the mental institution, and not long after, she committed this heinous crime.
She literally said what she was gonna do and they still let her go.
This is the world's smallest dog. Her name is Pearl, and she's a 2-year-old Chihuahua that lives in Central Florida. Pearl stands at 3.59 inches tall and weighs 1.2 pounds. She's shorter than a popsicle stick and around the same length as a $1 bill, and she can fit in the palm of your hand. Pearl was recently awarded the Guinness World Record for being the smallest and shortest dog in the world. She's a descendant of the previous world record holder, Miracle Millie, who is 3.8 inches tall, which is just 0.2 inches taller than Pearl. Pearl's owner describes her as a calm dog who likes to go for walks and play with her toys. She also said that Pearl loves the attraction she gets for being so tiny.
Wow, what the hell? World's tiniest dog. She's a descendant from the previous world's tiniest dog. That makes sense. That tracks.
Y'all, this is some crazy FB news, y'all. So this little girl right here had this baby, right? Tell me why this little girl right here had been being SA'd by her biological father since she was 9 years old and had shared 3 children with this man. Now, the reason that this all popped off is because the 2-year-old was like 6 pounds. So CPS got involved and found out the 2-year-old was being malnourished. And they got involved, and then they did some tests, and they realized that all 3 of the children belonged to her and the biological father. Now she's currently 21 years old, and allegedly everybody in the family knew about this. The grandma knew, the grandpa knew, everybody knew. This is some sweet home Alabama BS, because I don't understand how nobody told what was going on to anybody, to CPS. The 9-year-old tried advocating for herself and telling CPS what was going on, but they did not listen to her, nor did they believe her. Now, they did a DNA ancestral test and said that the 16-year-old and 38-year-old were related. That was her biological father. She is currently 21 years old, and it says at the time they were living at the same residence. And it also says that the doctor is taking care of the 1-year-old, and that's when they realized that the 1-year-old had features that resembled ancestral DNA, was like related, like they were related to one another. This is a picture of one of the children with the biological grandpa, who's also the biological father. This is another picture of the son with the grandma. Now, she knew, now I think this is the grandpa and the grandma, but they knew what was going on and they did not help their granddaughter. And this is the entire post, pause to read, of the daughter stating what happened to her and her being ready to speak out about her situation because she felt like nobody believed her. And at this point, she's saying that everybody who did believe her passed away. And I believe that was the grandma, the grandpa, but they still didn't do nothing to help her. This is some crazy stuff, but this is her now, and this is the biological grandpa and dad now. He's still free and alive, and she's saying that, yeah, I honestly feel like he should be unalive, because why would you do this to your own daughter?
World's a dark place, man. That doesn't even make sense.
Karla Faye Tucker was sentenced to death for murdering 2 people with a pickaxe. And for years, that was the end of her story. Until something happened. Karla Faye Tucker was born again. While she was in prison, she became a devout Christian. She renounced violence. She became a model inmate. She even married a minister. So Karla Faye Tucker made the transition from a child being sold to men by her mother to a cold-blooded killer to a born-again Christian. And that was inspiring to a lot of people.
I was forgiven, and I experienced that forgiveness. It freed me up inside to soar.
Soon her case didn't really become about her very ugly crime. It was about redemption. Carla's dramatic religious transformation garnered her a lot of support within the Christian community, including televangelist Pat Robertson, and he usually championed tough-on-crime policies, but even he fought for clemency for her. The argument made by Karla Faye Tucker's supporters was this: the Karla Faye Tucker who committed these crimes no longer exists, so does she still deserve to die for it? It's definitely a thinker. It poses questions about justice, mercy. Is the goal of a prison sentence to punish or to rehabilitate? But here's the kicker. The problem with mercy in the legal system is that it's rarely about fairness. The question also needs to be asked about why Karla received the international sympathy she did, when many others on death row never did. Like, is it genuinely because she was rehabilitated, or was it because she was a soft-spoken, pretty white woman who fit the mold of someone worthy of mercy? On the other side, the families of Karla Faye Tucker's victims had their own questions. Like, why did Karla deserve mercy when she didn't have any for Jerry Dean or Deborah Thornton? By 1998, Karla Faye Tucker had been on death row for 14 years and had exhausted all of her appeals, meaning the only thing that could save her from being executed was being pardoned by the governor of Texas, who at the time was George W. Bush. He said no. He said she was found guilty by a jury of her peers, and it's their job to enforce the laws. So Karla Faye Tucker was executed by lethal injection on February 3rd, 1998. To this day, Karla Faye Tucker's case still haunts the death penalty debate. And it forces us to ask what justice is actually for. Would Karla Faye Tucker's life be better served helping other people in prison, or did she deserve to have her life ended because she brutally ended 2 other people's lives?
The ever ongoing debate. I think that's going to be debated to the end of time. Sad but true. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you guys are true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video, comment down below, hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace, YouTube.